As you continue to play vain, eventually, snow will cover the ground, your crops will die, lakes and other bodies of water, and even that bottle of water in your backpack will freeze. This is when you know that winter has arrived. In this video, I'm going to quickly show you how to survive winter no matter when it arrives, whether it's months after you start a new game or immediately. We're covering both scenarios. Scenario 1 is the standard start. Most difficulties, except for very hard and insanity, begin in April. This gives you plenty of time before the first snowfall. Both scenarios share the same basic goal. You need a means of having enough food and water to get through the cold months while staying warm. And it's surprisingly easy to lock all three of those down with just a few items. We'll come back to that when we talk about starting in winter, but since April gives you breathing room, you can use that time to have a little fun and either progress through your crafting stations, so your standard workbench, your advanced workbench, your forge, and so on, or explore and find the equipment you need to bring back to your base instead. We're talking about things like a gas generator or a makeshift windmill or makeshift solar panels. Personally, I prefer solar panels. Hook those up to a fuse box in your base. Remember to wire from the fuse box back to the power source. Here, you can see me wiring the fuse box to batteries, then from the batteries to the solar panels on the roof. When the power is cut off, this keeps everything running, which allows you to continue to cook using an oven and preserve food using refrigerators. For water, you can install rain collectors outside. There are two types. The standard version works well until winter when it freezes. The insulated rain collector won't freeze at all. Wells are useful because they fill up faster than a rain collector, but don't drink directly from them or you'll get sick. And once winter hits, wells freeze entirely, so if you have any sprinklers connected to them, those will stop working as well. Speaking of sprinklers, during the warmer months, you can install one sprinkler in the middle of 6 tightly packed large planters, and then plant 12 pumpkin seeds. Pumpkins are fantastic. Once cooked into grilled pumpkin, they provide 60% satiety. Just be careful not to exceed 50% satiated or you will gain weight. It's best to be more than 10% peckish before eating. Keep a bed near your kitchen so that you can sleep a few hours if you need to increase your hunger before you eat. But remember that winter is coming and your plants will die. If you've stocked your fridge, then great. But once you run out, you'll need to rely on hunting or maybe any canned food you saved while scavenging earlier in the year. That takes care of food, but you may still be cold and getting dehydrated. Ideally, you have clothing with decent insulation. You can see the insulation rating of a piece of clothing in the tooltip. Indoors, fireplaces will keep you warm. Radiators help too if your base is in a house that has one. A kerosene heater, which you can craft, works anywhere, and campfires work as well. Now for frozen water, this may get patched eventually, but right now, in most cases, water freezes extremely fast. Whether it comes from an insulated rain collector or from filling a container with boiled water, it seems to almost instantly freeze, often before you can consume it because you can't use frozen water for drinking or washing. You can boil it in a cooking pot to both thaw and purify it if needed. Once you have purified snow or rainwater, you can thaw that in a microwave, assuming you have one, but it's not necessary. I typically thaw water by placing it in a container next to a campfire, a kerosene heater, or a fireplace. This doesn't seem to work near forges, but forges also don't currently put off heat to keep you warm either, so I suppose that makes sense. The best container to use for this is the muck tub, as it holds a large amount of liquid. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that you can connect a rain collector to a sink. If you're using an insulated rain collector, even in the winter, you can get fresh water indoors. Like power though, this is a luxury. And the next scenario proves that you don't need any of this. If you start a game on very hard or insanity, you begin in October. But you can also choose to start in the first winter through the advanced difficulty settings. Power and water will already be off, but this can be a fun way to play the game. If setting up crafting stations and managing recipe lists isn't enjoyable for you, try this. You're just looting, scavenging, and living off the land. For a winter start, I recommend choosing a firefighter. You always spawn with a fire axe, which is not only a strong melee weapon, but also a heavy cutting tool, and it lets you bypass locked wooden doors, even if you can't dismantle them properly. At the start, you need a few essentials quickly because you're going to get cold fast, and then hunger and thirst aren't far behind. You can chop down trees for logs and then dismantle a few logs to get wood scraps. Then you need to find a lighter. When you start getting too cold, get indoors and build a campfire. Then you need to find a container for water. The muck bucket, again, is ideal, so check garages and sheds for one of those, or at least a smaller plastic bucket. Go outside and look at the ground, open your inventory, and fill the container with snow. Place it near the fire to thaw so that you can drink from it. For food, you'll need to hunt. Wolves and boar are easier early since they run at you, but long term you'll want a bow if you can find one. You'll also need at least a pan to cook the meat. Alternatively, you can go with canned food if you find any. And that's really the entire loop. Maybe find a small cabin with a fireplace, drop a utility cabinet, go out on loot runs for guns, ammo, and supplies, and see how long you can last without ever crafting a workstation. Just you, the trees, the wildlife, and the occasional horde. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Take care.